Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton have started a passing camp, like Manning Passing Academy now. It's in Bluff City, Tennessee. It's the Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton Youth Football Camp at Sullivan East High School in Bluff City, Tennessee from 1 to 5 today. Here's my hot take. Nobody should send their kids to attend this camp. Nobody. These players, both of them, were developed under Josh Heupel. You don't learn the mechanics of playing quarterback under Josh Heupel. Honestly, you don't. What are Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton going to teach?
I think you learn a very limited set of technique and fundamentals that work in one system. So I think he knows how to coach quarterbacks. I think if you told him that he had to coach quarterbacks as good as Bill Walsh or any of those guys, I think he could do that, but I don't think that's the fit for his offense. So I see exactly what you're saying. Unless you're George McIntyre, you don't go to this camp because you're not going to learn things that you're going to go to other camps and coaches are going to be like, oh, wow, we got to take this guy. Somebody go tell Kirby about this dude. Look at his footwork. It's unbelievable. You're not going to get that from this camp at all. And that's fine. You can still win without having great footwork. But I don't think that's what you want your young son to be learning.
No, not at all. A few other layers
Kyle
here.
says he's on his way to camp right now. Now I feel terrible. Kyle, go to the camp and enjoy yourself. Tell Hendon I said hello.
And Smoky Mountain Red brings up a good point. It didn't seem to get a lot of advertising. And I didn't know about it until I went to Hendon Hooker's Instagram earlier this week. And I'm like, wait, they're doing a camp? Why has nobody talked about this? And it kind of threw me off. And I thought, do you think Heupel's trying to keep this idea under wraps too? Do you think he doesn't like this idea?
No, Caleb, he's not trying to do that. I just think that they didn't know what to expect. It's kind of like a soft open. Now, Heupel's not out there. Do you think Heupel has like a picket sign saying, don't camp with Hooker?
That's crazy.
I didn't say he has that. So what do you make of this, though, those two coming together to hold a camp? I mean, that they did seem closer than a lot of starter backup quarterbacks have in previous years.
I think if Joe wants to continue to be relevant in the world of football, he needs to cling on to Hendon Hooker like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic.
That's what this is about?
That's what I think this is exactly about. And in 5 years, when Hendon Hooker is still playing in the NFL and Joe Milton is not, you'll say, do you remember when you said that Titanic line? And I thought it was funny, but it's true. He stayed somewhat relevant for 3 or 4 years because he did these camps. And then it's just like, he's another dude.
Who would you rather be coached by, though? Do you think Hendon Hooker would actually coach kids better than Joe Milton?
Yes.
I mean, we know that.
Now, I will disagree with you here. I think Hendon Hooker will end up being a great quarterbacks coach. And Smoky Mountain Red, you're right. It'll put smiles on hundreds of kids' faces, which is well worth it. I think that Hendon Hooker wants to be a coach, that he will learn different kinds of offense, that he may be more of an NFL coach where he'll have to learn different styles of offense, and he won't rely on just this Josh Heupel type of offense in the college game. So I think that one day we're going to be talking about Hendon Hooker knocking on the door of being a head coach in the NFL.
That could be interesting. By the way, this is Flexwork Sports that's putting this on. And there will be other coaches there. I could see that happening. So maybe this is their focus. Maybe this is Hendon Hooker's long-term thought. Is maybe you're right. He wants to go down the path of a head coach. I'll say this. And
Joe was going to be in attendance because we got late word that Jeremy Banks wasn't available.
Oh my gosh. I can't
make it, but if I do, I'm going to beat your arse.
I can't speak to the right coaching mechanics and developing. As a head coach leading a program, though, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. There's very few people I'd want over Hendon Hooker. You're right. I think Hendon Hooker is the perfect type of leader, isn't he? For like as a player, but does that translate to head coach, to coaching? I mean, Michael Jordan was a great leader.
Yes, because I think he's an overachiever too. I think overachievers are the best head coaches. Like, look at the guy at the Lions now that he has as a head coach, Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell was just a big stiff that ran around for the Cowboys at tight end. He was not that great. I mean, he was not very good at all. And now he's an incredible coach who's never even been a coordinator. So I think Hendon Hooker will be that type of guy. And for those that think that he's too quiet because you've seen his public persona, I'm told that behind closed doors, he can be as loud as you need him to be.
Oh, he is. Again, I'm not saying he bullies like Michael Jordan did players, or even like how Peyton Manning did players, but I've heard he gets very hard on players once they're in between the chalk. Yep. And is very demanding of them.
Sports Treasures, carrying over 5 million sports treasures and so much more. Follow on Facebook for the best sports memorabilia. They've got daily updates. Sports Treasures TN. Go to Sports Treasures TN. Crystal says Hooker replaces Heupel in 10 years at UT. Crystal, I thought about that, but I'm planning on retiring before I get that old. And TriStar hats, for the latest in TriStar hats, go to the original hats, apparel, and more. TriStar Hats Co. With a co. TriStarHatsCo.com. Yes.
So Hooker replaces Heupel in 10 years.
Me or the quarterback?
Oh, I got what you're saying there. Hooker replaces Heupel. I just caught that. Oh my gosh. Would you ever hire a former legendary coach to be at your school to be a head coach? Ever? Would you ever do that, Dave?
Maybe that's a discussion for tomorrow because I know where you stand on that.
I don't have as much of a problem with it as you do. I just know that it can hold you back in trying to fire them. But
yeah, Wisconsin still has that dude walking around. What's his name again?
Barry Alvarez?
Yeah, and he's still walking around somewhere on campus.
He's the athletic director. That Barry Alvarez is the model Tennessee thought they had when they got Philip Fulmer and promoted him to athletic director. They thought they were getting the Barry Alvarez model.
I don't even know what to say about that. He's Caleb Calhoun. I'm David. If that's what they thought they were getting, they should have put their sights a little bit higher.